1, 5, 4, 5. What was it? Okay, so let's go back to this. So let's answer some questions that concern this particular distribution. And I'll have you guys just write these ones on maybe the on your notes there. So what percent of liberals are female? What percent of conservatives are male? What percent of the class is male and liberal? What percent of liberals are male, and what percent of males are moderate? Some things that I want to point out about these particular questions is that language is really important, right? Because percents in general, you remember, we're looking at total as our denominator, and the, what's the word I'm looking for the top? The amount, maybe, for the, it's probably a better word for that, right? The amount in the numerator. And so we need to be able to count those up, but the language here is going to determine what total we're looking at. Okay, so take about 4 minutes here and try to answer those 5 questions. Should we write some totals up here? How many total liberals are in the class? 6. We have 9 moderates. We have 4 conservatives. And we're missing Joe Howell, so that's fine. And then we've got 10 males and 9 females. Technically 11 males in that. These, by the way, have a specific definition. They're called a marginal distribution. A marginal distribution. This is a distribution, right? 154 is the distribution of males, right? I'm gonna mark this up quite a bit. This is the distribution of males. Because it's how the males are distributed, right? This is the marginal distribution because it's how the margin is distributed, right? Just like 694, that's also a marginal distribution. So anyway, those 5 questions. And we're at what, 45 minutes? You got a couple minutes. Just be careful of language. The language here is going to tell you what total is. about 30 seconds and then we're going to start. I want to try and get answers up for these 5 before we take off today. So when doing answers like this, there's 3 ways that you can record an answer when we're talking about probability and percents and that kind of thing. You can give it as a decimal, you can give it as a percent, or you can give it as a fraction. All 3 are fine. For the purpose of what we're doing here, I'm going to ask you for the fraction, okay? Because the fraction helps us see the answer a little bit better. So, what percent of liberals are female? Let's ask a female liberal. Nicole, female liberals, what percent of liberals are female? 5/6, yep. And again, it's what percent of liberals. So we're looking for the total amount of liberals, which is 6, and then 5 of those liberals are female. What percent of conservatives are male? Which pig wants to tell us about which? I'm sure. Which male conservative wants to tell us which percent of conservatives are male? Let's go with James Barney. 100%. So percent of conservatives that are male. There is a total of 4 conservatives, and 4 of them are male. So all of the conservatives in the classroom are male. 100%. What percent of the class is male and liberal? Let's go with our only male liberal. It's 1 out of 19. Notice saying of the class, right? The total that we're talking about is the total of the class, which is 19. And only 1 of those 19 is a male liberal. What percent of liberals are male? We're going to have to go with Aiden again, right? 1 out of 6. That's the opposite of this. You guys like how I'm just pointing out everybody's conservative? Like, try to pit you guys against each other as much as possible. It'll be fun. And what percent of males are moderate? Justin, you are a male moderate. What percent of males are moderate? What's that? 5/10. This isn't a reduced fraction. I don't care if it's not a reduced fraction, right? It's not a big deal in statistics if it's not a reduced fraction. I'm reasonably certain. Maybe I'll go double check the AP test stuff, but I'm reasonably certain they won't mark you down for that on the AP test. Careful with language. That's the hardest part of these, right? The language is kind of determining what your total is out of. So be careful with that. You've got some questions like this on your homework tonight. You've got one question where you're doing that. Chapter 3 notes are due Friday. I hope that you've either already started or you're planning on doing them tonight, because in general, I tend to assign less problems at the beginning of the unit when I think you should be doing your notes, and more problems at the end of the unit when you should be done with that. So you haven't had many problems Tuesday, Wednesday. I would expect more tomorrow, but that's because I don't expect you to be working on your notes. Okay? Hey, Aiden. In general, I don't think we need it.